Hi. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm switching it up so I don't have to talk about what film I'm going to review, and I don't have the arduous process of listing the director and the actors, so that's nice for me. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I saw on social media and it just really gnawed at me, and this is going to be somewhat like a therapeutic process for me. I'm doing this to just get it out so I don't bother those close friends and family with hearing my rant that they could do without. So bear with me. I just have to get this venom out and get it out of my system. I was scrolling the other day and I saw a picture of Haley Steinfeld, who I think is a gorgeous woman and a very talented actress. But when I looked, it showed that she was at the D23 event. And it broke my heart. Someone like her, who I remember when she made her film debut in True Grit, and she, to me, was the best thing in that movie. And that's a movie with two seasoned performers, Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon. She was the movie. A couple years later, I saw her in a film called The Age of 17 with Woody Harrelson and Keira Sedgwick. She was great. She has the chops. And seeing her at an event like that made me so sad that a talent like that is being wasted with the garbage that is being churned out today in such a high volume. I don't think many people have even heard of the film The Age of 17, but they know Bumblebee. And then I continued to scroll and I see Ryan Gosling there, and I see that they inducted some people into the Disney Hall of Fame like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jerry Bruckheimer. And it was so depressing because it's like, where are we headed in the art world? Now, I know people would say, well, that's not what Disney's about. Right, but they're the ones that have all the power now. And the people like Haley Steinfeld, like Ryan Gosling, that could do good work. He did a film called Half Nelson that was good. They can do it, but they got to make money. And in the picture, he's like wearing a jacket that says Star Wars on it. And the thing in it, when it said about the event, it said theme park ride, everything from new theme park rides to movies. But at Disney, they're one and the same. It's all about a franchise they can churn out. Think about Johnny Depp's career. He had a good career. He was a talented, versatile actor. He could do a film like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Edward Scissorhands, Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He did another film, From Hell. He did a film, I think it was Benny and June, where he kind of takes on like a silent actor type thing. He was good. But his career really shot into the stratosphere when he started making those Pirates of the Caribbean movies. That's what really put him over. I understand that in this world, everybody has their own taste. There's room for everybody at the table. What depresses me is now it seems like what Disney turned is the only thing at the table. And for those of us that want something more, that want something with depth, that want a story to be told that doesn't involve lasers shooting out of someone's eyes, or something that's not another retelling of Spider-Man, Batman, Flash, Thor, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, whatever other crap they're churning out right now. Tough. I'm not saying it's not out there, but you really gotta look. It's almost like being a vegan in a Texas town that only serves barbecue. Like you're just gonna have to get in your car and drive way off somewhere else to find what you want. And that is so depressing to me, because I don't think a film today like a Paris, Texas would even be made. Wouldn't happen. The Godfather couldn't get made. They might make it a streaming type show, and that would be it. And if you've noticed, any actors that don't want to go the superhero route, They just go find Taylor Sheridan and they do Yellowstone, U.S. Marshals, 1923, 1883, Tulsa King. I know I'm leaving. I think Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell have now done one. He seems to be the only one writing for them. And if that's not necessarily your style, if you're not into it, and even that has become a brand. You go to Kroger, you see the Yellowstone t-shirts, you see all that stuff. Landman, I love Billy Bob Thornton. I've not seen one episode of Landman, but I love him. It seems that Taylor's about the only person writing for actors his age anymore. And if they don't go there, they have nowhere to go. That's why now they're going to television. And it really disheartens me. And what bothers me more is the way that these actors today seem to have no artistic integrity. If the money's right, and I understand they got to send kids to college and they want to buy big homes, they don't have a artistic conscience. And that's very unsettling because it's bigger than just Disney. It's everywhere now. You don't see original stories even being told. Look at television. The show that I see the most on commercials being promoted all the time is the one with Emily Osment, George and Mandy, which I think is an offshoot of Young Sheldon, which Young Sheldon was an offshoot of the Big Bang Theory. That's where we are. We're just going to milk the Big Bang Theory and get as many offshoots that they like that. We'll just keep going. I saw the other day Grey's Anatomy is still on. I remember when I was in college, they were showing who's watching that anymore. And then you see that a lot of actors that had a certain amount of fame are doing this thing of cashing in on nostalgia and, in my opinion, exploiting what they participated in the past. You've got the cast of a show like Boy Meets World that was part of the TGIF lineup. Well, what have they done? They just created a podcast about the show where they just sit and talk about it all over again. And Daniel Fishel's, on Dancing with the Stars, and they're wheeling out William Daniels. And what's so sad and depressing about that is it's almost like saying we've not done anything since then. And they haven't. None of them have been in any other shows that were, a hit. They came back for that Girl Meets World thing. And then they even talk openly about how Ben Savage maybe doesn't want to talk to him anymore because he's trying to move on with his life. How dare he? He's turned the page. He's not a slave to how many followers he's getting. He's not doing TikTok videos and dressing up as his former character. He's not trying to cash in on the nostalgia. And it's sad that it's everywhere. These comic cons where you go and like the guy who played Al on Home Improvements in flannel and go get your picture taken with him. If you pay $20 and he'll sign a picture and you can stand there and mug for the camera together. The Tool Girl, that's what she's doing. The people from the Karate Kid films, from all the old 80s films that have done nothing with their career since then, you know what they're doing? They're showing up. And they're hoping that somebody's willing to fork over $20 to have their picture taken with them. And I know it sounds like I'm being very judgmental and taking this way too seriously, but I truly love the arts. And film is the most accessible art form. More than music, more than, the art that we see in a museum, more than, paintings or photography or literature. Film's something that is very accessible to all of us. And it's sad to see it being diluted the way that it is today. Diluted and assaulted. Dumbed down. And, on this channel, I've talked about films like Wanda, Paris, Texas, In the Bedroom, films that really hit you right here and stay with you. And I've noticed the most recent one I've done is Ad Astra, which came out in 2019. And a lot of the stuff I find, I'm having to go on TCM to see it, or I go buy it in the Criterion collection. It would never come to a movie theater. And it breaks my heart to even think about where we're going to be 20 years from now. Could a film like Chinatown even be made? No, because we're not going to have Chinatown T-shirts. We can't sell Chinatown posters, and you can't do that with Paris, Texas either. We're not going to, Burger King's not going to sell an action figure tied in with this, and we can't do a theme park ride for it. And you notice if it's not a superhero movie, the only thing that really generates buzz, if it's something like the Devil Wears Prada sequel that people already had an affection for that many years ago when it first came out. That one they can do, but it's a follow-up. A film like The Devil Wears Prada, when it first came, probably wouldn't even be released today. We have no more stars. We have no more artists. We just have entertainment. And it really is a depressing thing when you sit back, when you turn the TV and you're bombarded with it. And you see shows like Masked Singer, The Voice. Could you picture Bob Dylan on The Voice? Neil Young? Picture guys like that on there. Joan Baez, Annie DeFranco. But Reba McEntire, who, is basically more of a mogul than anything, yeah. Ariana Grande, yeah. And there is no separation anymore, it doesn't seem, between the artist and the audience. They're taking us backstage. They're showing videos, pictures of themselves posing with each other at parties. Showing us them getting ready, almost taking a poll, which dress should I wear to the show? I mean, think of an actress like a Grace Kelly, a Tippi Hedren. Think of somebody like that. Think of them playing Wonder Woman. Think of Audrey Hepburn as Supergirl. Audrey Hepburn's iconic. All she had to do was do a film like Breakfast at Tiffany's about a very sexy, sophisticated woman in New York. They didn't need a gimmick. She didn't have to shoot lasers out of her eyes. She didn't have to fly. They could just tell a story. And it is so frustrating to see that be mangled now. To see storytelling become obsolete. And I was thinking about, people like Sam Shepard, Robert Towne, Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams. They're all gone. Where's the good work gonna come from? How can they even get money to make it anymore? I mean, it's almost like if it's not bland and it's not marketable, then forget it. We're not worried with it. It's meant to be a spectacle. It's not meant to tell a story. And if people don't dress up and it doesn't have it, and it's not the kind of film that we can make an abundance of sequels after we make the first one, there's no point. And it can be so much more than that when you watch a film like Badlands, when you see a master like a Terrence Malick, a Sergio Leone, a Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, and yet there's no room for them anymore. And what scares me more is I feel like if there is somebody out there today that can do work like that, they're not going to be allowed to. Anna Kendrick has done some movies that I think are really well done. She was in Up in the Air. Love that film. Happy Christmas, a film hardly anybody knows about, which is very sad. Great film. I thought she was great in 50-50. Unfortunately, most people know her for Pitch Perfect. Now, she can sing, and that's a talent. That's why she was good on Broadway. I saw some of that second one. Guess I needed my daily dose of imbecility. It's depressing that anybody likes that. When you realize that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a box office draw. When he and Jack Black are doing films like Jumanji, really? Somebody who did The Tooth Fairy? That's where we look to now? It is so disheartening. And I think back to an episode on Nightline that I saw on YouTube recently. And they were talking about the validity of a film like Star Wars. I think the third one had just come out. And Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert were there as a team on one screen, debating John Simon on the other. And Gene Siskel and Rock advocated for it. Said it's well done, it's entertaining, it is a good film, there's nothing wrong with it. And John Simon was seen as the curmudgeon who spoke out against it. And he said something that really rang true. It keeps kids dumber, or makes kids dumber than they have to be, or than they should be. And then, of course, well, what would you recommend? He said, well, what about something like Huck Finn? Why not just read that story? What about even Peter Pan? He didn't say, but like Peter Pan, never, without all the smoke and mirrors and bells and whistles. And this was in 1983, I believe. And it was if he knew where we were headed. And Gene and Roger didn't. This was the time of Indiana Jones and E.T. and films that were more like thrill rides. The reason it didn't seem as dangerous then, you also had films like Raging Bull being made, The Deer Hunter, Taxi Driver, Rocky. You had stuff like that. Now, that has completely dissipated. And we're just left with this generic, depressing crap with zero redeemable qualities. And it really got under me when I saw that event, because it represents everything wrong with the world of cinema. That this glorified thing like Disney, that is really nothing more than this thing, has power to infiltrate that world. And it's not like, oh, they just have their own little niche. They're it. It is Disney, Marvel, DC, comic book. It's their world. And if we're here now, I don't even want to think about 10 years from now. I can't even remember the last time I've seen a trailer for something where I thought I'd even be willing to pay to go see that. You can almost feel the brain cells dying when you're watching it. So, they say all things are cyclical, and I hope that's true, and that eventually people will burn out of this. But based off of the people that I see wearing Superman t-shirts, Incredible Hulk, and the bumper stickers that say Jedi and every other thing, and Harry Potter, and I solemnly swear I'm up to no good, the future is not bright. Thanks for the indulgence. I had to just get this off my chest. Until next time, thanks.